Hey, good evening, everybody. Just wanted to get online and talk to you guys for a little bit. Feeling pretty good after the weekend. Had a good weekend, as you know, if you were following me on Facebook. And it was a good weekend, and today was physically a good day. Other than the frustrating Planet Fitness stuff that we had going on, but that's in the whole scheme of things, that's not a big deal. But just wanted to come on tonight and saw some friends over the weekend that I hadn't seen in 40 years. And the question I get asked the most, and which is normal, and it was a question that I always ask when people get sick, is how did you know? How did you know when that there was something wrong? And so I'm gonna go through the whole thing with you guys for people who don't follow me and don't really know exactly, if they haven't followed all my updates. So around May, around May 3rd of last year, I started noticing that every time that I would eat, I'd get a pain in the right side underneath my sternum, and it wasn't indigestion or acid, anything like that. I know what that feels like. Just a real sharp pain in my sternum area. So, I just kind of ignored it, like most of us do. I don't like taking time off from work, and I just I say no big deal. So, fast forward to Monday, June 3rd, I went to work, and I ate my lunch around 10:30, and nothing, just a sandwich and some potato chips or something, and just couldn't get comfortable in my truck for the rest of the route. I had to finish the route, and got it all done. And by the time I left to go home, the pain had abated quite a bit. So it's no big deal. So went home, and Becky made me dinner. And as soon as I had dinner, that pain came back again. And I ignored it for a little bit. I went up to bed around 7:30, something like that. And it just got worse and worse. And so I made the decision just to, instead of trying to make an appointment with my primary care physician, which would have taken, 2 months to get in to see him, I decided just to bite the bullet and just drive into the emergency room. And, Becky, I just told her to stay at the house and watch after Winnie, and I'll keep her informed on what goes on. I knew it was going to be a long night. So that being said, I get in there and got all checked in, and I had some chest pains too. So they saw me pretty much right away, at least to get an EKG, which my heart was normal. It was fine. And then they did some labs, but it took pretty much all night. It was probably 4 or 5 hours, you know, before I got out of there. And they did an ultrasound and labs, and my liver function labs, my enzymes were high, you know, but they weren't overly concerned. They said what they came up with was pancreatitis. And I said, okay, I can live with that, And they thought it was my gallbladder, so they basically told me to go home and take the rest of the week off. So I got a doctor's note. You know, I was gonna be up for vacation on June 10th anyway. Or actually, I was gonna that Thursday, like June 6th. I was taking Thursday and Friday off anyway. So I got a doctor's note and you know, proceeded to go on the liquid diet and just kind of let everything, you know, calm down. And they said if anything changed, you know, come on in and come back in and we'll do some more tests. So I wasn't feeling that much better. You know, obviously the pain wasn't that as bad because I wasn't eating. So by Saturday though, my my urine looked like Coca-Cola. It was really, really, really dark, and my face was orange, you know, because I was jaundiced. So again, into the emergency room. You know, they laid me on a cot out back, and there I sat for hours and hours with Becky, and finally they agreed to admit me, and they were just waiting for a room. So they admitted me onto the third floor, which is one of the older rooms with a roommate. It's in the what's called the burn unit. So so that's where they put me on that Saturday, Saturday the 8th. So um, fast forward, you know, I'm still on the liquid diet. You know, they put me on some antibiotics and some pain medication. And, you know, we get into Sunday and they ordered an MRI. And as hospitals do, they get busy. And so it took until 6:30 Sunday night before I got my MRI. You know, I told Becky to go home, you know, once she knew I was going in for the MRI. I wasn't going to have the results until um, Monday the 10th anyway. So she went home, and I had a pretty restful night's sleep. Had the MRI, you know, got to sleep, and at 7 o'clock the next morning, the physician's assistant came in, um, gastroenterologist physician's assistant came in and said they had the results of the MRI if I wanted to get Becky on the phone, and I thought that was kind of weird. So because Becky wasn't there, so I got Becky on the phone and put her on speakerphone, and that's when the physician's assistant came right out and said that I had pancreatic cancer. And, you know, Becky lost it, which was understandable. She wasn't with me, you know, but the uh, the assistant said that, you know, it was a pretty big tumor on the head of my pancreas that was blocking my bile ducts. So they wanted to get going with an oncology team really, really quick. So they ended up moving me up to the oncology floor, which is brand new, and ended up getting a beautiful, um, beautiful room overlooking Back Bay, and it was really, really nice. So, um, you know, they made me comfortable, you know, and it was a lot to process. You know, Becky, you know, still had, you know, she couldn't stay with me all night because, you know, Winnie, we can't leave Winnie alone all night. You know, she's an elderly dog. So she probably left around 8 o'clock um, that Monday night. And they had scheduled me for an endoscopy on Tuesday morning. And the endoscopy was going to involve two doctors, Dr. Stefan and another doctor. One of them was going to take the biopsy of my liver because I had some spots on my liver too, and they were going to take, you know, a biopsy of my pancreas. Plus, they were going to put two stents, metal stents, in my my bile ducts. to open that up. So I went in Tuesday morning, and that minor surgery was a success, and I immediately felt better now that my bile was flowing. It had all backed up, and it relieved the pressure on my liver. My liver was really stressed out, so that was good. So we made an appointment for Monday, June 17th, to meet with the oncology team, which consisted of Dr. Dugan, and all the while thinking that I had pancreatic cancer, and everybody well, all my family knew, but only a few friends knew at that time. So it wasn't out there yet, but we ended up going to the oncology appointment on the 17th of June. But we ended up on Father's Day, which I believe was the 16th. They did the trash parade for me at Higgins Beach, so I had to scramble to let everybody know what was going on that day on the 16th, because it was on the news, and so that being said, that Monday, we saw Dr. Dugan, and he that's when I found out it wasn't pancreatic cancer. It was actually what I had found out as poorly differentiated neuroendocrine carcinoma, which is the 6th rarest cancer in the world, as I've told you guys. So, and that's when he told me it was bittersweet, because he could get it under control and possibly shrink it down to 0, no evidence of disease, but it was incurable, and I was always going to have it, and it was very aggressive, and we really needed to get going. So that's how I found out how I was sick. Why I went to the doc, decided that night to go to the emergency room, I don't know. Because I usually ignore my symptoms and just, like I said, most guys, we just don't take time off from work. We don't go to the doctors. I do my yearly physical, my DOT physicals, and I do my labs every year for my cholesterol, my blood pressure, and make sure I don't have diabetes, and I see my urologist for my prostate issues that I've had. So I thought I was doing relatively good, keeping up with my whatever was going on. So I'm thankful that I did go to the emergency room, because if I had waited, I can't say, I probably wouldn't be here, because it was very aggressive. So that being said, gentlemen out there who ignore your symptoms, and just try and listen to your body. I know it's hard, because I'm the same way. It's like, hey, I gotta work, but it saved my life this time. I'm still here. I'm still fighting. It's been 8 months now, going on 9 months. Got a little bit of a break, like I told you guys, and I'm gonna take full advantage of it. My nutrition is back on track. I kind of ignore what I eat when I'm on chemo, just because I want to keep my weight on. I know it's not the best thing, to do, eating, a lot of high fat foods. I did cut out the fried foods, but, I'd have a hamburger, so, or a steak. So anyway, just listen to your body, and if you are sick and you do get sick, be patient with people who you haven't seen in a long time that want to know how you're doing. And want to know how you got sick because, or how you figured out that you were sick, because when somebody gets a terminal illness, you start thinking about your own mortality, and you start thinking about the aches and pains that you've had, and wonder if, hey, maybe I should go get something looked at. So, which I say, if you're having chronic pain after doing certain things, like eating that you have never had before, you know, my only advice is, go have it looked at, you know, because it literally could save your life. So I just wanted to put that out there tonight, and let you guys all know how I found out, about my disease. Um, and I'll continue to give more updates. I've got an oncology appointment tomorrow with Dr. Dugan at 8 a.m., which hopefully it will still be. It's Martin Luther King Day, but they are open. But the Scarborough area is supposed to get 8 inches of snow, so who knows? I'm hoping they'll stay open, because I really need to talk to them about what's next. Because I, as you know, decided to suspend my treatment until I make sure that this is still working, because the side effects are so bad. And I'm not going to go through it if it stopped working like my other protocol did. So I figure 3 rounds of this highly toxic FOLFIRINOX will let me know whether or not it's been shrinking. And if it hasn't, then we're going to pivot. We're going to figure out what's next, what protocol is next. I don't have a lot of protocols because of how rare the disease is, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna figure it out one way or the other, and we're gonna keep on fighting. We're keeping up with our therapy. We're keeping up with Reiki and acupuncture and massage at Dempsey Center. And for all my friends that do have cancer out there, please take advantage of the Dempsey Center. They're angels in there. It's for patients and caregivers. They can get all kinds of different therapies and treatments at no cost to them. So it's 100% donation funded. So you don't have to worry about insurance or anything. You just have to sign some release forms and make the appointments. And everybody there is wonderful. There's a lot of volunteers, and when I get this stable and no evidence of disease, I plan on volunteering there as well. So I love you all. I hope your Martin Luther King Day goes well tomorrow. Be careful out there, all you plow drivers that I know, Jeff and Ross, and there's a bunch of them. Jamie Jr., Jamie Boynton Jr. Be careful out there if you're plowing, please. And all my Casella brethren, I know you got to be out there in it, because the trash, God forbid the trash doesn't get picked up, So you guys all be careful out there, and I'll update you again, throughout the week, and let you know, if anything has changed. All right? So I love you. Have a good Sunday night, and talk to you soon. Love you all.